Hello, I'm Annabelle, and I'll be talking about identity. Ethnic. Ethnic identity is largely intertwined with other arenas of identity and can sometimes bleed into those other facets. Combined rational thinking and emotional intelligence, a fairly new cognitive ability for emerging adults, are traits that aid in further acceptance of an individual's ethnic identity. Young adolescents are less likely to be proud or acceptant of their ethnicity and background, but this generally changes with time, as seen with emerging adults. Self-identification can be difficult in a society of multi-ethnic backgrounds, especially if an individual has ancestors of more than one ethnic group. Ethnic understanding and pride is integral to the American identity, a true melting pot. As they leave their childhood homes and enter into the world of college or work, emerging adults are exposed to classmates, coworkers, and friends of different ethnicities. This helps them learn of other ethnicities as well as their own, mingling them into environments they may not have been previously aware of. Vocational. This stage in life is seen by many to be a critical time for emerging adults to acquire the resources needed for lifelong success. Between ages 18 through 27, the average U.S. worker holds 8 jobs, with college-educated workers changing jobs more frequently. These statistics demonstrate the exploration, intrinsically and extrinsically, required to form one's vocational identity. There are resources for emerging adults that can help aid their search for career identity, such as vocational career aptitude tests. These tests may provide options for young adults to consider, however, they do not guarantee a person's life path or happiness within their chosen career. Those things generally come best when an emerging adult looks inwards and outwards.
Hi, my name's Alyssa, and I will be talking about personality. Rising self-esteem. During emerging adulthood, longitudinal research finds that there are improvements in attitude as well as continuity within an individual. With the opportunity for young adults to make their own decisions, a positive trend of happiness is more apparent. For example, if a young adult grew up in a good environment, they would typically keep a positive outlook in life, and someone who was raised in a negative environment would most likely change the situation for the better. Although there is an increase of stressors, self-esteem is often not reduced. There are cases of emerging adults that do develop disorders that weren't seen during childhood, yet most do have a positive effect during this period, enjoying their new independence. Worrisome children grow up. Children who show aggression or shyness tend to grow into adults with normal social and vocational lives for their cohort. In early adulthood, some traits from childhood may still be evident, yet individuals usually show a lot of improvement in normal self-esteem. Serious psychological disorders. The rate of emotional disorders does rise going into adulthood. The highest increase is seen in schizophrenia. Schizophrenia has had an average diagnosis age of 21, with a higher chance of developing in men than in women. There are very few that are diagnosed after the age of 30, since the symptoms are most prevalent in early adulthood. Although it is partly genetic, physiological maturation and the presence of stressors can increase the chances of its development. Severe anxiety and depression are also present during emerging adulthood, especially in women. Lack of treatment can lead to restriction in the emerging adult's later development and hold them back from success in schooling or intimacy. The need to establish identity in addition to the vulnerability may lead to a higher risk of drug addiction and suicide. Plasticity. Continuity and change in personality are present throughout life. While genes, childhood experiences, and family circumstances prevent a complete transformation in an emerging adult, new experiences lead to small changes while they are finding out who they are. This is most common from ages 18 to 25, since the individual is open to opportunities such as going to college, moving out, making new friends, or even ending drug abuse. These shifts may also be correlated with historical events and cohorts. An event such as an economic fall during a certain period may lead to a shift in self-esteem for all within a cohort for that time. During this time of change, emerging adults also show a change in becoming less self-centered and more caring, leading us into intimacy.
Hi, my name is Alexa, and I'll be talking about intimacy. In Erikson's theory, after achieving identity, people experience the sixth developmental crisis, intimacy versus isolation, where an adult seeks someone with whom to share their lives in an enduring and self-sacrificing commitment. Having close friends in early adulthood correlates with close relationships earlier in life and helps in other aspects, like doing well in college. Contemporary emerging adults gain friends while transitioning from their childhood family to moving to their adult community. This has led to expanded understanding and wider social networks. A specific example is the use of social networking sites that have helped youth to satisfy human psychological needs, resulting in a positive emotional health and well-being. Romantic partners. Average age for getting married in the 1960s was just 21, and in 2010 the average was 27. Two new sexual interaction patterns could be a contributor to this: hooking up and friends with benefits. However, a study of college men of several levels of sexual experience and various ethnic backgrounds found that although all of them were familiar with the distinctions among hookups, none of them were happy beneficiaries of non-relational or casual sex, as college men are sometimes portrayed. Despite divorce rates, Americans remain optimistic about marriage. The political issue on gay and lesbians marrying indicates that for all people, marriage matters. A relationship between love and marriage can reflect era and culture. 1/3 of the world's marriages are arranged. In developing nations like India, most brides believe they have a choice and are able to meet their future husband shortly before wedding via parental arrangement. They can veto the match, but mostly do not. 1/3 are in same-sex schools and only meet other possible mates who are in the same ethnicity, religion, or social class. These couples are supervised by the parents. If the parents do not approve of the relationship, eloping or breaking up would occur. In developed nations, young people socialize with a number of others, mostly without parents knowing. Casual hookups in marriage is pushed back until financially and emotionally stable. Choices of these lean toward personal qualities instead of religion, ethnicity, or long-time stability. Love and ethnicity. As explained earlier, the traditional way to find marriage partners was through the parents or within a social circle. Today, there are many ways for individuals to connect over the World Wide Web, with apps and websites allowing to post pictures and details of their lives with the potential to reach out to 2 billion others in search of a romantic relationship. More emerging adults these days are living together while in a romantic relationship as a test of compatibility and as a prelude to marriage. By contrast, in regions like Sweden, France, and Jamaica, cohabitation is more of a substitute for a marriage than a prelude. In other nations, including Japan, Ireland, and Italy, cohabitation is not the norm and is very unusual. Research in the United States finds that people who cohabitated have higher rates of divorce and that their children develop less well than children of married couples. However, no research from any nation has yet found that it improves psychosocial development later in life. As a result, the research suggests caution that neither the happiness of moving in together or the popularity of cohabitation is proof that it is beneficial over the long run.
Hello, I'm Erin, and today I'll be talking to you about family forces. First, familial support and connections are very important. As adolescents enter young adulthood, they strive for independence. It is easy to assume that the importance of family weakens as young adults begin to explore their independence. But data shows that parental support continues to be critical, even more so now than with past generations. Lives of each family member influence each other, even across generations. This is referred to as linked lives. Young adults' views and opinions are surprisingly similar to those of their parents, despite the generational gap. Similarly, the type of attachment a child formed as an infant, secure, insecure, or avoidant, is correlated to the relationship styles later in life. For example, a person who displayed insecure attachment as an infant is more likely to be clingy and jealous in a romantic relationship later in life, as opposed to a person who showed secure attachment as an infant. Family relationships vary from nation to nation. In the U.S., it is more common for unmarried emerging adults to seek independence outside of the home and not to live with their parents. While in other countries, it is expected for children to live with their parents until they are married. Despite differences in cultural expectations and living situations, children's connection to their parents remains strong throughout emerging adulthood. Familial generations are strongly connected to each other regardless of culture and universally feel obligated to each other.